what's going on in the pepper world here. You know, I've got this humongous New Mexico Big Jim back here. It's a big pepper. It's about 4 feet tall, and it will not produce flowers. I think the 95 to 102 degree Texas heat for the last 20 days has been really tough on it. No aphids on it. There's not an aphid problem. It's not a nutrient problem. I've done a really good job of keeping it watered, keeping it fed. I think it's just too dang hot. So it doesn't even start flowers and then drop them. It just won't produce flowers. Possibly with all this great soil down here that I've added with all the compost from last year, maybe it's too heavy on nitrogen. I added a bunch of compost to this whole bed here. It may not be a nitrogen problem though, because I have a New Mexico Big Jim plant over here that is continuing to produce peppers. Got a pretty nice size one coming in right here. Obviously a little smaller. When July hits, the peppers seem to, for me at least, when they're outside in the heat, tend to produce less pods and smaller pods. Could just be me, but it seems like that's what happens. It is still setting flowers though. You know, it's setting flowers. So this New Mexico Big Jim producing pods, setting flowers. This one, not even an inkling of a flower pod produced anywhere. And it's bigger than that one. Regardless, we've got the Caribbean blend pepper here, which is also continuing to set flowers. You know, I did notice that the leaves are starting to curl, and I attributed it a couple days to the Texas heat. But when I took a closer look, I've noticed I've got some enemies here. We've got some aphids. And typically what I normally do is wait for the sun to dissipate, and then I spray them with my soap and water solution. I don't want the sun beating down on them with the soapy water, because that will definitely fry the leaves. Sun's actually disappeared on this side of the yard to an extent, so I think it's a good time to go ahead and spray these down. The good news is I've got several peppers that are now mature on these plants, ready to be harvested. So it's definitely time. I'll give you a closer look at those here in a second. As far as other pepper plants, I've got this Jamaican Scotch Bonnet here. You know, it's a pretty nice specimen. It's big, it's got big foliage, will not produce flowers. Not even try to produce them. It can't set pods unless it has flowers, and it doesn't set flowers. So same problem going on. I'm not too concerned right now, guys, because the temperatures out here will continue to be hot for the next 2 to 4 weeks. And then they'll start declining, and that's when my peppers last year really took off. So we got what we could out of them for most of the year, and I think my second season is going to be a lot better than the first, because they were really immature for most of the first part of the season. Got a white devil's tail pepper plant here. Same thing. It's a big plant, 2.5 feet, no flowers. We've got a white devil's tail back there and one back there, and because of the fact that they're shaded, they don't get a lot of sun. They probably won't produce until I chop the Caribbean blend down. But if it's going to keep producing flowers and pods, why would I chop it down? We've got a Bahamian Goat pepper plant here. Again, no flowers, no pods. Same thing here, Bahamian Goat, no flowers, no pods. It's got to be the heat. I'm going to say it over and over again. The heat. The soil mixture is good. I know it's good. And it's producing on some other plants, which is odd. And then I've got a chocolate Scotch Bonnet down here. Same thing, kind of stunted, shaded by the tomato plant, but still not producing any pods whatsoever, or any flowers to an extent. I plan on giving these guys a really good soap and water application now that the sunlight is no longer bearing down on them. And I'll probably do that over the next 3 days. Once today, probably again on Monday, and then one more time on Thursday when I'm back. And that should get rid of the cycle of the aphids and hopefully help these plants, as it cools down, produce proper foliage and more flowers. And then the same thing in this bed. I've got a caramel boot pepper here. Again, I've trimmed it down. You can see where I've trimmed them. You can see all the edges, or all the tops where I've topped them, trying to promote additional growth, and it is working. You can see additional growth here, but they will not produce foliage. Now in the summer and the heat, it's good to top your plants a little bit. That way they don't drop the foliage anyway, which they will do. They will go ahead and prioritize which leaves and which branches are doing the best, and they will start dropping leaves and branches. But to avoid that, promote stronger bases, and to give myself a better second season harvest here in the fall, I went ahead and topped these a few times, as well as my Bonnet here. Got 2 of those topped them as well, just trying to promote some strengthening of the foliage, plant not having to support so much foliage during the heat. Again, no flowers. Man, it's been tough. The soil conditions I know are good because the tomato plants produce so well. Bottom line is the peppers are really struggling out here as far as producing flowers and pods. To be expected. You can't have 95 to 100 degree temperatures for any length of period of time, more than a week, and expect the plant to do well. Finally, I got a few more peppers back here, and I've got a Carolina Reaper. Same situation. Decent foliage. I had an aphid problem that I've gotten rid of, so that's why the leaves are a little bit different than they should be when they're new. A little twisted, a little curled, but the aphid problem is gone at the cost of maybe some stunting. However, we're just trying to keep the Carolina Reaper and the Bahamian Goat here alive through the next several hot weeks, so that way come mid-August, late August, early September, they start putting on flowers and start producing pods. So as promised, I think it's time to do a Caribbean blend pepper harvest. We've got several pods in here and I want to go ahead and get them off the plant. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling them off. We've got one here. You see it's a pretty good looking pod overall. We've got another one. Down here, another good looking pod, pretty consistent as far as shape. There's another one right here, another good looking pod. I see we've got another one back here. Let me get this one off for you guys. Great looking pod, nice little tail at the end. These guys are very fruity, very tasteful. A lot of juice, good heat. A little hotter than the average pepper. I want to say, you know, based on what my experience has been, these are about a 250,000 Scoville unit pepper. They could be a little less. They could be a little more based on the pepper itself. You know, as you know, heat and water and sunlight and everything plays a part of how hot each pepper is. I'd say the hottest one I've had is probably 350,000, and the weakest one I had is probably 100,000. Anyway, we got some more. I'm going to go continue to pull them off. Another good looking pepper there. I know I've got another one down here somewhere. There it is. Another good looking pepper there. Got a few more in here. One back here. There you go. And still yet a few more, so we'll pull these off together. We got one there and one there. Looks like I got a leaf in there as well, but a couple of more. And you know what, I kind of like the shape of this one. It's more like a bonnet shaped pepper here. So there's the peppers. Let me just double check, make sure I'm not missing any. And looks like I got them all. We do have, while I'm at it, we do have other fruit sets. We've got one there with several more flower sets coming in. So not a bad harvest today. Looks like we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 more Caribbean blend peppers, all fairly good size as you can see to the hand. So I'll be really excited to make some more sauce, I'm sorry, with these. And anyway, I wanted to give you guys an overview of the peppers. Not a lot of success right now in this Texas heat. The plants are continuing to grow. They're continuing to put on a lot of foliage. I'm willing to bet that come fall, these are going to be loaded down with peppers. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and enjoy these. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. Thank you.